Hello everyone, it's Changing Faces here and welcome to my masterclass. Today we are gonna break down a track called Thunder, and yeah, thanks to DNB Academy for having me. And let's have a listen to the drop first. So this is how the track sounds. Okay, let's listen to the second drop. This is the second drop. It has kind of like a drum step beat. Sounds like this. Okay, so now that you know how the track sounds, I would like to show you how I made it and the creative process behind it. So I think I should start from the intro, but actually when I produce music, I always make a drop first, and then I build the intro and other beats. So I will start like that here as well. So the track started when I found like a really cool patch for the main lead, which is made in Serum. This is the sound. And this is the piano roll, so you can see it's a really easy melody, and it's really basic. And I adjusted the patch a bit, so you can see we have two oscillators here. First one is sine wave. It comes from the basic shapes in Serum. Second oscillator, it's some random waveform from Serum as well, but the octave is pitched down to -1, and both oscillators has a unison the first one is number 13 and second is number 10, and we use unison to make the sound wider and warmer because it adds harmonics. And yeah, the filter on this preset is quite interesting, and it adds the really cool sound into it, because if we listen to it without the filter, without the all passes filter, it sounds like this. Sorry, let's switch to the pattern, I always forget about this. So once again, hold on, so sorry. I mean, like the all passes filter does a really cool thing to the patch, because it makes like a band pass filter, and it boosts the higher frequencies a bit, but also cuts the lower frequencies. And there's also a drive which adds a bit of distortion, and we have also macros that are linked to wavetable positions here in oscillator A and oscillator B as well. And one second. And when we play the sound, sorry, okay, let me explain what I just did. So basically I have the sound here in Serum, like in the piano roll, but I also have the lead as a wave sample, as a wave file. And the reason why I have it is that the Serum, or the melody in MIDI, is panned to the left side, and the sample, like the wave file of the same lead, is panned to the right side. And if I zoom in more, you can see that this one is moved to the right side a bit. And I always do this to create like a wider sound. I have it in this track with plug as well, which I will show as the next thing, and also with some guitar samples. And yeah, so when I play the Serum patch, it only comes to the left earbud, because I have the right ear linked to the sample. So I have to play together in the playlist. But anyway, as I said, it was a patch that I found, and I only made some small changes to it. So I can't say more about how I made this sound, because as I said, it was a preset. But it's really interesting preset, because there are like no layers, because the preset was already really thick. And yeah, because like usually I have to layer sounds a lot, and now I didn't have to, which is amazing. And when you open the FX, we have here only a bit of reverb and a hyper. And when we have a look in the mixer channel, I have OTT there, which is like, I think, a must when you try to make EDM, or DNB, which is like a multi-band compressor, and only some basic EQing. I used only a filter to cut off the lower frequencies that we don't need, because if I didn't do it, it would sound muddy. And yeah, so I I somehow came up with this, let's say, even like a stupid melody, because it's really simple and really basic, but it somehow works and it was stuck in my head. And then I tried to write some bass line over it, which I always do. That I make a melody, or I find like a background, maybe like a pad background, or something like that, and I try to write a bass line over it. And if I am happy with the bass line, like if I have a feel that it's catchy enough, I continue building other things. So the bass line is in Serum as well. This is piano roll. These are the notes. Let's have a listen to the bass line. And it's in Serum as well. This one is super simple. It's only just one oscillator. It's a square bass, so you go only to basic shapes, and you have the square wave there. And yeah, this bass is also only one layer, which is also like super crazy, because I always have like a sub bass and a res bass and maybe some mid bass or something. And I usually layer like 3 different bass lines, sometimes even more. But this one was this one is really easy as well. And yeah, we have here a low pass filter, like a soft one, number 6. And then we have the LFO one, which is connected to the cutoff here, and that makes the movement that you can hear, which sounds like this. Like you know, the classic dance floor bass line, or how to say it. And yeah, but the thing I did with this bass is, when we open the mixer, I have here a equalizer, and as you can see, I boosted. Let me play you the bass without the EQ. And when I turn it on, sounds like this. So I boosted the sub bass. I did a little dip in the lower mids, boosted the normal mids a bit, and also higher frequencies a bit. And I don't know how, but somehow it was enough, and I ended up only having this one bass line in the track, because it has the movement, and it also has a sub bass, and it's in mono. And yeah, so there is like nothing more I can say about this, because as I said, it's really simple. We have a bit of flanger in the FX. Here is EQ as well, that's also cutting the lows a bit, and a bit of chorus, but that's it. Yeah, I really like to keep my music simple, because I gotta confess, I hate sound design. I don't enjoy it, because I enjoy writing melodies, and I I make music because of emotion. I mean, I obviously it's important to have a good sound as well, but I'm not really that good in it at it, and yeah, I try not to stress about it that much, because I I enjoy other things in production more. So when I made the lead, I made the bass, and this is what I had. But then I didn't know what to put in the next 16 bar, because I thought that if I continue with the lead it would be too boring. So I was like, well, okay. By the way, this is like one of my first dance floor tracks, because if you know my music, you know that I was always making liquid. But I really do enjoy dance floor more, and I play dance floor sets like all the time, and I also want to produce music like that, because I really enjoy that, and I also wanna like add some of my tracks into the dance floor sets. So I want to make music like that, because obviously I can't play the liquid tracks with the dancier ones, because it's like not that energetic as tracks like this. So I didn't know what to do, and but I was like thinking like what's in the all the dance floor tracks, and I uh, I came up with an idea that I will put just some basic pluck into the next 16 bar. So I made that one in Serum as well. I mean, I think I only use Serum. I used to use Massive as well, but Serum seems way easier to me. I mean, I still suck at things like this, but it's way easier than Massive, at least for me. So this is the plug, but again I have to play it from the playlist, because as I mentioned before, the plug from piano roll is in left ear, and the the plug I duplicated as a wave file is in the right ear. So let me play the plug. Okay, so it goes like t t t t. So just copy and paste really, but then at the end of the at the end of the 16 bar, there is a small change, which I will show you shortly. So you can see it's all the same, like t t t t, and then we have a change here. It goes up. This is how it sounds. Yes, and then we will move on to the plug in the last 16 bar in the first main part, because that one has a bit of different arrangement. So yeah, the plug is in Serum, as I said. We have two oscillators, both have unison on number 5. Again, it's because of more harmonics, and the oscillator A is the main one, and the oscillator B is second one, which is more of a square sound. I will turn on the pen for a bit to show you. So this is the main oscillator, but to give it a bit deeper sound, or how to say it, or to give it a little more lows, we have the oscillator B, which is more of a square sound. It sounds like this, and together. So you can hear that they work perfectly together. And again, LFO is routed to the wavetable position in oscillator A, and it's also routed to level in oscillator B. And if I play the sound, you will see that the waveforms are moving. So have a look. well, the waveform on the oscillator A is moving. So this LFO does is that it's changing the waveform, and it's creating the movement. And yeah, that's basically it. We have a lot of effects in the FX here. We have distortion, which creates really cool sound in this plug. Sounds like this without it. If I turn it on, you can hear that it's like more crispy and stronger, and I feel like distortion also like helps to cut it through the mix a bit. And then we have flanger, phaser, delay, reverb, also some extra EQ here, all the basics. Yeah, I need to put the panning to the left side again, so it won't crash with the, oh sorry, with this wave file. And when it comes to the mixer, again, OTT, which is really one of the most used plugins, I think, lately. It's free as well, so it's good. And again, just some stock EQ here to cut the lows. And I also have the plug in the last 16 bar in the first main part, and it's the same sound, but it's a bit slower. So here in the first plug variation, you can see it's going fast, but the second one is a bit slower. Let me zoom in. So it's not going like t t t t t, but it's like t t t t t. And again, it's all the same, but there is a small variation at the end of each second bar. Let me play the full thing. So it goes down and then it goes up. It's down here and then it goes up a bit here. And yeah, so together with the bass line, it sounds like this. Okay, so when I had this, I think I was happy with it already, because this track was kind of writing itself, because when I made the lead melody and when I added the bass line, I knew how I want this track, how I want the end result, and yeah, but okay, I think I can move to the intro now, or like the arrangement and building. So I showed you the main part, or like the starting of the track, and we can move to the intro now. So as I said before, I'm kinda new into these dancey tracks, but I knew that I had to start this track with the bass line, but I didn't want to use the main one, because it would be so boring and it would be the same. And I thought that it would be a good thing to try maybe some like a synthwave bass line. So I made that. The notes are almost the same as the notes in the main bass, but there are some changes. I don't have a piano roll here, and this bass was made in Massive, but because of CPU and other things, I had to bounce some melodies into WAV files, because if you look at my project, you can see a lot of WAV files, and I will explain everything. But I kept only the main lead, the bass, and the pluck as a piano, as in a piano roll from a plugin, because my computer is old and wouldn't probably survive everything. So I don't remember how I made this sound wave bass, but I know it was two oscillators. One was sine wave to give it a bit of sub bass feel, and second one is creating that synthwave feel, like the old school feel, and the bass sounds like this. Okay, and I used this bass in the intro, as you can see. I used it in the breakdown as well, or stop time, and I also used it in the outro, but that has different notes, so I will get back to that later when I will get through the outro section, because I don't want to confuse you. Yeah, so this was the bass. I exported it to a file. If we open the mixer, the bass is mono, and I cut off the lows a bit. So yeah, it's really simple. Yeah, so I had the bass, and I layered it with really simple saw pad, which is in the intro here, again in the breakdown, but also like the last 16 bar in the intro, in the main part, in the first main part, and also in the last 16 bar in the second main part and outro, and yeah, it's just again some exported sound, and it's only looped, and it sounds like this together with the bass. The cool thing about backgrounds like this is that it can be only one note, and if you add bass line, it works, and it's not that boring. And yeah, I talk more about stuff like this in my DNB Academy course, which is a liquid DNB course, but I have their video where I show how to create atmosphere like this from scratch. It works with any kind of bassline, and you can build a full track out of it. So if you want to know more, make sure to get that one. You can also get a sample pack I made for DNB Academy. It contains 200 sounds and presets. And yeah, okay, so let's get back to this one. Okay, so I added the saw pad, which is looped. Okay. I have there only EQ again to cut off the lows and to clear it a bit, because if we didn't do it, it would be muddy. Yeah, so this is the first part of the intro, and I really didn't know what else to add, because when I was doing this, this track was instrumental first, but then Lottie sent over the vocals, which I will explain as well. This is the full a cappella, but we have all the separate layers here, so I will show you each one. It's really interesting. But when I didn't have the vocal at the first, I had a kind of a trouble because I didn't know what to add more into the intro, because it was obviously the bass and the pad, it was too boring. So I had a look through some guitar samples, and I found really decent guitar recordings, and I chopped them a bit and changed the arrangement a bit, and I found out that it works quite well. So we have first guitar sample here. So you could hear that it's looping, and then there's longer part, and I have only again OTT and EQ. I boosted the highs a bit and cut the lows, and I have another guitar here, which is called Guitar Atmosphere, and it's only like wait, let me play it. So it's really simple sound, and if you play this sound only, it sounds quite boring, but things like this are important, I guess, because I always try to layer samples and try to like add something I would never use, like alone, or how to say it. But sometimes even basic sounds like this can help, because together with the first guitar it sounds like this. So you can hear that it adds a bit of movement and rhythm as well, and it makes it even more interesting. And together with the bass and the pad, it sounds like this. Okay. Another thing I added was this plug called intro plug. Again, as you can see, I have the sample here, and I made it. I cloned it, and I did the same with the guitar and with the lead and everything to make it sounding better. And one side is panned to the left ear, and second is panned to the right ear, and it's good for stereo as well, and for the like it sounds better, I think. But you have to move the second one a bit. So sorry, you can see it here. And it's a really simple plug. Again, it sounds really boring, or it sounds like something I would never use as a one sample only, but together with the intro elements, it sounds good. It sounds like, together it sounds like this. So what I recommend here, if you struggle building intros or you don't know what to add, just have a look in any kind of sounds and keep trying, because you never know what fits together and what can create something cool. So this was made like this. I was just randomly trying some sounds and came up with this. I also have a vocal atmosphere here, which is used later in the track, here and here as well. It sounds like this. Again, boring, but it sounds a lot. So always use atmosphere like this, because it's a hidden gem, I guess, because it really adds a lot to some parts. So let's have a listen how it sounds all together. Okay, I think I will talk more about the, well, I already explained the drop, the first drop, but the second drop is different, so I will leave that for now and get back to it later. But let's talk about the first drop again, because I forgot to mention something. I forgot to mention a really important thing that comes from the vocal, because let me play it. So this is the vocal.
Can you hear the thunder? Can you hear the sound? 'Cause it speaks your name as it's calling out. Can you feel the thunder as the rain pours down? I can feel my rage and it feels so
And now the interesting part is coming. I stopped it because, well, she did some words, then some ad-libs, harmonic, stuff like this, and then you can hear this. And this is also one of the vocal atmospheres I was mentioning before, that it's really important to use stuff like this, because it adds a really nice thing into the drop. So I will play the drop without it, and then I will play it with it, and you will see what I mean. It's just a simple looped a bit of a vocal. So this is how it sounds without it. and now have a listen with it, because this thing I showed you, that's one of the things that made this track come to it it how to say it, basically this full vocal, it brought this track alive, and this beat is really sick. So, and this is how it sounds with it. So if I didn't have it there, the drop would be empty, and you can see that this track is pretty simple because we have only one bass line with really simple notes, one lead with really simple notes, but it's all about sound selection. And then I have there the vocal atmosphere that did one, and it's really amazing. I love this vocal so much. If we move to the second 16 bar, the words come back again. There is like none of this here, and yeah, so this is the main hook, that can you feel the thunder. And what we did is that it's sung normally, and then one bit is pitched down, and it fits so well into it, and I was really happy with it, because it really fits, and it was like also my first time using pitch down vocal in a track of mine, and it makes it more interesting, and it's not that boring, and it's not the same. So let's have a listen. But also, what we have here as well is this first vocal atmosphere, which is in the intro as well, but different parts, and it also adds something. So this is the atmosphere. I will play it with bass line so you can understand easier what I mean. Together with the acapella. Can you feel the thunder? Can you feel the thunder? Without it. Can you feel the thunder? Feel the thunder? Feel the thunder? Can you feel the thunder? Can you feel the thunder? Can you feel the thunder? Feel the thunder? Feel the thunder? Okay, so yeah, I hope you know what I mean, because again, it's just small thing, but it takes the track to a different level. So it's about details as well. So pay attention to this, and keep trying, and layer sounds, and don't worry about using anything, because you have no idea what can help you, and even a short sound can help you to take the track to another level. And this step here is one of the examples. It sounds like this. It sounds really bad, right? Even like the sound quality and everything is lame, and it's only just like, there is nothing that interesting about this sound, right? What I have on it, I have Nothing. I have nothing on it. I mean, it's I will show you how I made it later, but anyway, um, this step adds so much into that 16 bar. Let me show you. This is without it. And now with it. So yeah, only one simple sound like this, and it adds a lot of things, and it makes it fuller, and it's not that boring. Only just one single hit, and it it makes the 16 bar better. Uh, what else I have here? So in the last 16 bar I have another atmosphere made from vocal. This one is reversed. It sounds like this. It's made from vocal. I think I found some sample and I cut maybe like ending of it, and I reversed it, and yeah, there is only EQ to cut the lows, and I layered it, I arranged it like this, so just copy and paste, and it also adds the atmosphere to the track that we needed. It's not even that loud, but it helps. So yeah, you can see that I have atmosphere in from vocal in this full track. I mean, you don't have to use strictly vocal sampler for stuff like this, but I think that I almost use vocals only for this because I find it the easiest and the best. It works the best for me. Another maybe a bit interesting thing here is that I have here like a ARP, which you can see is rearranged and cut and layered in some random arrangement, and it's not in the you can barely hear it there, but as you can see I have a volume envelope which goes to the max at the end, and when the track drop ends and it slowly gets into the breakdown, it gives it like some nice feel to the end of the 16 bar. This was with the ARP and this is without it. So again, just some small detail and it helps. I forgot to mention then that when it comes to the build-up of this track, I have here the lead notes, but as you can see, I made the lead notes in the intro even more basic, because you can see that I have only 4 notes, but the lead in the drop is a bit longer. It's not only 4 notes, but it's more, so it has more variation. and there is only a filter that that creates the atmosphere. Let me show you. You can see how it goes. So it's slowly introducing the higher frequencies. So nothing complicated. I have here a build up from that I made ages ago, I guess. It's just a full drum loop with filter on as well, which is going from like lower frequencies into the higher ones. And then we have some basic clap build up as a combination with it. Yeah, that's it. Yep. So yeah, that's basically it. Another important thing in this track, or I think in what I noticed in the dance floor tracks overall, is that tracks like that has quite a lot of noises, or risers or downlifters or white noises even in the drop, not only before the drop or at the end of 16 bar or something like that. And it also gives this track a really nice feel, and it feels it. So let me play you the full track without the noises, and then I will show you why I have the noises there. So let's play it without the noises. Okay, now with the noises again. This is a full sample I made a while ago. Same with drums. I will explain shortly. But this is with the noises, and you can see that I don't have them only when the drop hits, but also like here it goes like that in the full track. It sounds like this. This is the noise that is adding a lot of things to this track. It sounds like this. It feels it, and it makes it even more catchy, or how to say it. I have this noise sidechained. The kick is bringing it down when it hits, and that makes the nice feeling. So let's open the So many things here. 26. Let's open the limiter and you will see when I have the noise and the kick in the playlist how the kick is bringing the noise down. So it's making a movement. This is without the side chain. This is with, that was without, and this is with. And yeah, so that's basically it. But make sure it's not that loud, because it can then be like not good in the track, because it's important to have everything on a good levels. I think we can move to the drum. Oh, sorry. I think we can move to the drums, and then I will talk about the vocals and the second drop. So these are the drums I have here. So I made these drums, I don't know when. It's basically something for example, I made the kick by layering and snare as well, but as I want to keep my sound and I want to have better workflow, I made some samples and then I exported the drums separately. So you can see that I have here kick, snare, some hi-hats, like a lot of hi-hats, some rides, sharp hats, and so on. And again, if you wanna know more about the drums layering, you can check my course for DNB Academy, because I explained that there. And yeah, then there is like in the different project where I made these drums, there's only something simple on the full drum bass, some EQ and saturation, and yeah. And let's open the mixer. I mean, the mixer is a bit messy because I made this track almost 2 years ago, but I try to clean it up a bit. But obviously I didn't want to like put the kick into the mixer channel 1 or stuff like this. But you can see that the kick is routed to hi-hats, to other hats, to percussion, to rides, to another hi-hats, to the white noise, and to bassline, of course. And yeah, so the kick is sidechain to bass, so we are creating the space for the kick, and as it's bringing the bass down a bit. And also I have the sidechain in the drums because I'm trying to make more space for the kick as well. So I have a limiter on the head samples and ride samples for this. And I think I have here extra EQ. I cut the lows a bit, or the sub, because the kick was really subby. And when it's a mono. When it comes to snare, the snare is also routed to some things in the track, for example the main pad and vocal loop, because we are creating a space for the snare and it's creating a cool movement. So you can try sidechaining the snare with some atmospheres or pads or things like this. And yeah, I have only like a limiter on the snare, and again the lows are cut a bit. And yeah, same with the other stuff from the drums, only just some extra EQing on the stems. mostly it's just cutting the lows. Yeah, so speaking of drums, what I did in the second part was that I arranged the kick and snare a bit differently to create like a drum step pattern, because I always wanted to make a track like this, and it somehow worked with this Thunder one. So this is how the track sounds, how the drum sounds in the second part. So yeah, we have a small change here. Which I always do at the end of a 16 bar. I believe there is some variation here as well. You can see that I that I deleted the kick here and here, because when the track is going to a different 16 bar, it's like a cool way how to end the 16 bar, and the next one hits better. So I did the same here, as you can see, but instead of only deleting the kick here, I also deleted the snare, because I made this sample called snare trap roll. Again, I made this in some different project, and it's just basic trap roll, basic trap snare, and I made a roll in a piano roll out of it as a effect, or how to say it, and it sounds like this. Together in the full track it sounds like this. So yes, that's it. I think we can talk a bit about the second drop, and then we can speak about the vocal, and then we can move to your questions. So the second drop is completely different than the first one, because the main lead is not there, the pluck is not there, the drum arrangement or the drum pattern is different. It's like a different kind of a drop, and I didn't know what to do here, but basically I found some pretty cool ARP sample which sounds like this. And the vocal is playing there as well, and then the ARP loop is going down a bit, and something called sexy synth is coming up. Sounds like this. And if you remember this sound, the very first hit, that's how I made this step. And it helps. And I also used it here in the build-up. I have here clap build up again and some build up roll, and together with the first hit it creates some really cool sound, or how to say it, really cool build up. Oh, hold on, let me play this only. And if I leave it, it's not that good as with it. So yeah, there is like nothing more in this track, I guess, because it's super simple. I think we can move to the vocal. So this is the full a cappella, which contains all of these layers. So let me show you what's here. So when it comes to the processing of the vocal, I didn't do much, honestly, because Lottie is really talented and she also knows how to edit vocals. She always sends me really cool files that and they don't need that much work, because she always does the pitch correcting so nothing sounds out of key or false. She also do some basic like a reverb and delays. So she sends me like wet vocals. But yeah, what I had to do is I had to adjust the volumes of each sample, and I did some extra EQing and stuff like this. So yeah, let me show you. So the track starts with some ad-libs or harmonies, which is like this. As you can see, I did some volume envelope because this is the first 16 bar of the track, the intro, only the ahs harmonies, but the words are coming here, and I had to turn the volume on the harmonies a bit, because if I kept it like it was, you wouldn't be able to hear the words. So let's have a look into the second file. So basically she sent me a lot of layers and she's singing the words in a different like flow or different volume and different sound. Something is softer, something is louder. So this is the first layer. This is second one. Together. With harmonies. This is second Here is the lead vocal.
Can you hear the thunder?
This is the main file. The other ones are just layers.
Can you hear the thunder? Can you hear the sound?
Second layer.
Can you hear the thunder? Can you hear the thunder?
And together.
Can you hear the thunder? Can you hear the sound? 'Cause it speaks your name as it's calling out. Can you feel the thunder as the rain pours down? I can feel my rain.
We have some other harmonies here. You can hear that she's singing it different, like different. Yeah, just different, because it's all about the layers. And now this is the part that is in the main drop. And what I did is that I added panning, fruity pan-o-matic, and what it does is that it pans from left ear to the right, and it creates like really cool thing. If I turn it off, it sounds like this. And with it, so really cool movement. And yeah, so that's the intro vocal. Then we have here the main words, like the "Can you feel the thunder?" This is the first layer. This is the second one. That was the pitch down version. And we have another layer here.
Can you feel the thunder?
Can you feel the thunder?
Together it sounds like this.
Can you feel the thunder?
Can you feel the thunder?
Can you feel the thunder? Feel the thunder.
Feel the thunder.
Can you feel the thunder?
Can you feel the thunder?
Can you?
And yeah, so these are all the parts she sent. Some of them are like different words or something, because some harmonies I used in the second part are not in the first part. But yeah, and everything was put into this one because, as I said before, the CPU would probably die. And on this a cappella I had a bass, and as you can see I have a limiter there
Feel so
to control the volume a bit, and also extra EQ where I cut the lower frequencies more to clean it and boosted the highs a bit and made a little dip in the mids, because without EQ it would be muddy. It sounds like this.
Feel so alive. Can you feel the thunder?
Can you feel the thunder?
Can you feel the thunder? Feel the thunder.
Feel the thunder.
So yeah, it was easy to do because, as I said, Lottie is a pro and she always sends me really quality stems, and I don't have to spend ages correcting the pitch and stuff like this. And yeah, but I think I did some de-assessing before to get rid of the sharp S's. You can simply do this with some um, let me show you, with multiband compressor. If you have a FL Studio, you can do it with this one, or there's a really cool free one, um, this one. This is a free version of this EQ, and it has a band that allows you to get rid of the S's. But yeah, there are many more ways how you can do it. But yeah, so I think this is everything. You can see there are not that many things in this track. It's only about the details and about the sound, about the sounds you pick, and about trying something. Yeah, so I uh, I hope that you learned something, and we can move to Q&A. Um, so I'll be with you shortly, and I'm gonna answer some of your questions. So I'm back. I'm gonna answer some of your questions. Let's have a look. I'm not sure if I will be able to answer all of them, but I will try. I hope I will know what to answer. So, someone is asking, why don't you produce liquid anymore? Um, it's not like I don't produce liquid, but I have a I've tried to make some liquid, but I don't have a luck to make a track like that because I enjoy dance floor DNB more, and also when it comes to producing, I am really lame at making a lot of tracks. I make maybe like 3 tracks per year. Um, yeah, so I think I'm not saying I will never produce liquid again because, for example, I have a really nice liquid track in the work with someone. It will be a collab. It's with one of my favorite producers, but it will take a bit to finalize it as we are both busy with other things. But yeah, I think like uh, every artist grows and you don't always enjoy the same things. But it doesn't mean that I will never make any new liquid or that I hate it or so. I, for example, have a new track coming out next month, which is my first solo self-release, and I mean it's not a dancey, but it's a bit of like a radio kind of DNB, and I think that that's the vibe I enjoy now, and yeah. OTT often cause phasing problems. How do you deal with this problem? I think I never had this problem, but when it comes to the phasing issues, I recommend to getting maybe this free plugin called Ozone Imager, and I use Fruity Stereo Shaper to fix stuff like this. If you use different DAW, I can't recommend anything because I mostly use stock plugins. Why do you pan your elements to the left and right? Because I find that it creates better sound, like it's wider and it's creating like a rich sound, and I got used to it, and sometimes the cool thing about this is that you have to export the sound to WAV file first, and if you have the melody in WAV file and you play around with it, you can come up with some different melody from it because you can cut the sample and rearrange it. So yeah. Does the bass line in the intro has the same progression than the drop? Yeah, as I said before, it has. I wish I could show you the notes from this bass, but as I said, I don't have it in the piano roll anymore because I had to export some things in the WAV file. But if we compare it here, you can see that this is only a first note here, and it's a bit longer, and we have more variation here. But it's the same key and everything, just the tones are arranged in a different way. How do you make pads like the ones in the intro? There are endless ways how to do it. It would take me like 20 minutes to explain everything properly. So I highly recommend getting the course I made for DNB Academy because I explained this there. So maybe it will help you. How do you handle the vocals? Who did the recording? So this vocal is by vocalist Lottie Woodward. We have together like mm, 3 tracks, and the one coming out next month is with her as well. I really enjoy working with her. She's also a good friend of mine, and yeah, she's amazing. The rest of the question was which plugs to fit in this production. I'm not sure what you mean by plugs. Maybe plugins, but I don't understand this question, so I will move to the next one. Where can I get guitar samples like that? Uh, I uh, I got this guitar from Splice, but it's really luck to find some decent guitar, and I also had to like cut it and used only few parts from it and did the arrangement a bit different. How do you know what elements to add when you are creating the arrangement? Well, this is the thing, I don't know, because as I said, it's all about trying and finding the right sounds. I sometimes spend a lot of time doing this only, and sometimes I'm lucky and I find something that fits, sometimes I'm not. How do you sidechain instruments to kick and snare? So there are many ways how you can do it, but I always use fruity limiter. So for example, when we are talking about kick and bass line sidechain, I I go to kick in the mixer and I sidechain it to a bass line. You can see it's sidechained into that. Then I go to the bass channel, I add limiter, and I go to compressor here, and now you can see the sidechain and a box under it, and when you right click on it you will see the sample you route into it. So in this case it's kick, and let's check that. And yeah, so I made some presets already here. You see like sidechain, 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 sidechain. But the first start is that you start with the threshold and then you set the ratio and have a play with the attack and release. So I do sidechain through fruity limiter. Okay. How do you know when to ask for vocals? How do you know when to ask for vocals? Do you finish the track first or do it halfway through? Well, right now I'm trying to have vocal for every track, but honestly it's so hard to find vocalists because I'm a huge fan of the vocalists that are working with names like Dimension and Wilkinson and so on, you know, but those are big names that are out of my budget, and I'm also not signed to any label that would cover these fees for me. And sometimes it's really hard to get a good vocal because not everyone can understand what you want. So that's also another reason why I have so many tracks with Lottie, because I really love working with her. She always knows what I want and what the track needs. She always smash it, and yeah, I'm currently struggling to find a vocal for my new track. I already tried like 2 vocalists, but it didn't work out, and there is a deadline, and I'm worried that I will have to release the track as an instrumental, but it's quite basic without it. And yeah, I uh, I didn't answer this question at all because it's someone is asking like if I finish the track first or do it halfway through. So I try to get the vocal involved in the process of making the track, not at the end. Mm, how do you arrange your tracks? How many bars for the intro, build up, and so on? I noticed that almost all of my tracks have the same arrangement, so I mostly make three 16 bars for the intro, and one of them is like a build up, so it's two 16 bars intro and then third 16 bar with the build up, then two or three 16 bars of the main part, then two or three 16 bars of stop time, and so on. Do you master your tracks? Any tricks? I don't know anything about mastering. I personally don't enjoy technical side of production, so I really avoid this. I always get my tracks mastered by some company, um, or label takes care of it. So yeah. What are some good sources to sample other than Splice or Loop Cloud? I don't know. I use only Splice, so if you know something cool, please send me. How long does it take you to finish tracks? God, so long. For example, Thunder was quick. I mean, I did this track, like I started it almost 2 years ago, but it was finished quite soon because this one was writing itself and I was really inspired when I was making it. But some tracks takes ages. As I said, I barely make like 3 or 4 tracks per year. I'm not really uh, fast writer. Some people can make 3 tracks per month. I I make 3 per year. How do you find and approach vocalists for your tracks? So I think I said this a bit before when someone asked something about the vocals. Yeah, I'm currently struggling with that, but it's really it's uh, it's really cool to, for example, browse Spotify or maybe Instagram, and you can discover a lot of unknown vocalists which are really talented. And how I approach them, I don't know, I always like send an email like, hello, I really like your voice, I have a new track that I think you would fit, would you be up for giving it a go? And then and if she likes or he likes it, we discuss the details. And yeah, do you mix on headphones or speakers? So I used to mix on speakers on studio monitors, but the flat where I lived, I wasn't allowed to have music loud, and it wasn't basically my studio because I couldn't like put any acoustic treatment on the walls. So I got used to headphones, and I'm using these headphones. They are Biodynamic DT990 Pro, and I got used to these. I'm not saying they are the best because I'm sure you can find better, but when it comes to the price and quality, I really enjoy it and I'm used to them. I mean, they play the highs a bit, but I got used to it, and yeah, I can hear more details. But yeah, if I mean, I have a studio at home, but it's not like a pro studio. But one day, when I will have a pro studio outside of a home, I will get some really cool monitors and mix on speakers again as well. Did you use a separate sub for the main bass in the drop? I didn't, which is a fun thing because I said that I always do this, but this time I didn't do it. What I did was that I put an EQ on the bass and I boosted the sub here, made a little dip in the low mids and boosted the mids a bit, and this is the bass I have. So to show it again, this is without the EQ. This is with it. And that's it, so only one bass line in this track. Yeah, I think that some sound designer geeks would kill me for this, but I love to do my music in a simple way, and there are endless variations and options how you can make music. How long are you producing DNB? Way too long. Way too long. I think it's like 10 years. It will be 10 years this year because I started when I was 15. So it's quite a while. But yeah, I'm still not where I would like to be with my production, so I still have to learn a lot of things. When you make a track that has no drums in the intro, what do you add into it to make it able to be mixed on the CDJs and beat match with other music? I don't usually add anything into the track like this. I think that every time when I DJ and there are no drums in the intro of the track, there is at least a hi-hat which can help you beat match the track. So you don't have a full beat, but you have a hi-hat and you can catch the rhythm from it as well. And if it's not in the first 16 bar, just make a cue point and start from the second 16 bar, because I doubt that there is nothing like that later. Can you show us the master chain? I can. There is nothing nothing in it, because as I said, I don't master my tracks. I have no experience with it. And yeah, but maybe one day I should learn this, maybe. What's your favorite DNB track, and what music do you listen to outside of DNB? My favorite DNB track, good question. I think right now it's Sensory Division from Dimension, from his new album, and I've been waiting for the track for ages, and I really like the deadmau5 feel in it, and I really love the vocal there. The vocalist is one of my favorite vocalists, and yeah, the vocals in the stop time, the lyrics there, and the atmosphere and everything. When I hear the track, it makes me want to cry, but not in a bad way, but in a good way. It's so emotional, and I can't get enough of the track. I really love it. So that's my favorite DNB track right now. And outside of DNB, I listen to everything, to everything in electronic music. And I don't know, I really like bass house. I think Holy Goof is one of my favorite bass house DJs and producers. What else? I also like some pop music like S.G. Lewis or The Weeknd and all of this. Yeah, I mean, I have so many favorite artists, but I can't think of any now. But yeah, if you If you want to know, I have a playlist on Spotify called Faces of Music, and I put there everything from music, not only DNB. Uh, how did you become a successful DJ? Oh, thank you for thinking this. I don't know if I'm successful, but um, maybe I can answer this question if I ask this question again myself, but in a different way. I can maybe suggest what you can do to get more attention or more gigs. I don't know if you produce or no, but I think it's way easier to get gigs when you're a producer as well. And so I would suggest getting into music production first. I started like that as well. I started DJing later, maybe like 3 or 4 years after production. And if you are struggling how to start, I highly recommend joining DJ competitions and getting in touch with promoters, get in touch with local DJ crew, and yeah. And don't be afraid to reach out to a promoter. You have nothing to lose. I mean, do it in a healthy way. You can do maybe like, hello, my name is blah blah blah. I really like your shows. I'm also a DJ. I wanted to ask you if you are up to book a newcomer as well. And yeah, maybe he will give you like a opening set slot, but that's also important slot on a party. So yeah. What's your approach to dance floor drums? What kind of samples are you looking for when making a track? This is a really good question because I struggle with this. I have a problem with making dancey drums, as names like Dimension or Wilkinson or Subfocus and guys like this, because when I listen to their tracks, I feel like you can barely hear hi-hats or rides and stuff like this. You can hear mostly kick and snare only, and the drums are still rolling and they have a lot of energy and everything. But when I do this, the drums are boring and there is barely any energy and they're not rolling and not catchy enough. I always have to add a lot of hi-hats and shuffles and stuff like this, but it doesn't sound like dancey DNB drums at all. But I discovered that it's better to use less sounds, but it's all about the sound selection. You have to have quality samples to make something good. So make sure to always choose the right sample, the quality one, the best sounding kick, the best sounding snare, and some cool hi-hats, and yeah, and then make sure that you put some extra EQing and saturation on the drum bass. You can also, if you are using FL Studio, you can also use this. Hold on. You can use Fruity Wave Shaper on a drum bass, and you just need to have a play with this waveform, and it will make your drum sounds more punchy and more powerful. It's basically a bit of a distortion, but make sure it's not that loud or high because it can destroy your drums. But this is a cool FX if you are using FL Studio. What do you do to prepare your pre-masters? So I only go to the loudest part of the track. Let's say it can be the drop here, and I play the track and find the loudest bit. And you can see it's playing like maybe -5 dB or something, but I have the master really quiet here. I almost every time when I make my tracks, the master is on the full, and it's like maybe like on the zero or maybe even more sometimes. But the point is that you should always have at least -6 dB room when you send a track to mastering. So make sure to find the spot, the loudest part of the track, and then bring the volume fader down to at least -6, which in this case would be maybe like here. Yeah, even more. Yeah, so -6, and then you export it to WAV file, 24-bit, and yeah, you are good to go. How do you get the vocals in time? Well, I don't know, like every time when I get recorded a cappella, everything is on time, because the vocalist already has some experience. But when it comes to the sample, for example, some sample from Splice, usually the acapellas or vocal samples there are in slower BPM, maybe like 120 or so. So I have to adjust that by stretching the sample and trying to see how it works. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. Okay. Do you care about loudness in your mix? I'm not sure how was this question meant. So not sure if I can answer this one. Where do you get your inspiration for tracks? So mostly from like my favorite producers, when I try to make something in that style, but not like copying, but adding my own touch to it. But I get inspired by them, and also like by some live events that happens to me, because like every track I make has something from my inner self, and I try to put my emotions in the track. So yeah, just different music producers and life. Any tips for reaching labels to sign music? Yeah, so I feel like it's it's uh it's not that easy as it used to be, and I mean it is not that. Okay, let's start again. So first of all, I don't know, like I don't know who asked this. Okay, I don't know how long you are making music or so on, but before sending it to a label, if you don't have any official release, I highly recommend to send the track first to some producers. If you want, you can send to me as well for feedback, and you should also maybe like get in touch with more friends that are into music. They don't have to be from your country. For example, I'm in one producing group, and no one is from my country, but we chat there often, and we give feedback to each other, and we help each other. So I would say get a lot of feedback before, because people like that can help you to improve or fix something. And yeah, what else? when you think you are ready to have your first release, or you think that your music is good enough to get heard by a label, you can do it by sending them an email, but it can happen that they won't get back to you because maybe they are busy, they have a lot of demos and they don't have a chance to respond to each demo, and they get only back to demos they like and they want to sign. Or if you wanna do this and have a bigger chance, you can do it through some producer that is already in touch with the label, that has a releases on the label, because he's in touch with the team and he can forward it. And yeah, so I think this is the easiest way, or easier way. Okay, so that was a lot of questions. I honestly wasn't expecting this, and I'm really happy that you asked me stuff like this. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoyed the track breakdown. I hope that you enjoyed the Q&A. I hope that you learned something new. And thank you everyone for watching. It was my first time doing something like this. I'm not gonna lie, I was stressed. But I hope that I explained everything in a good way, and I hope that it helped you. And if you wanna send me your music, or if you want some tips, you can reach out to me. You can maybe DM me on Instagram. It's Changing Faces DNB. And yeah, to say some goodbye words, I wanna say last time that there is a course I made for DNB Academy. It's start to finish course, where I'm making track from start to finish. I am showing you all the secrets I have and my process and everything. It's a liquid DNB track. It's not a dancey one, but maybe we will do a dancey one together later. And you can also get a sample pack. It contains samples, some atmospheres, drums. It also has serum presets and things like this. And yeah, I would also like to mention that I have a new video set coming in the next few days. I have a new music out next month, 16th of April, my first ever self-release. And I also have a new merchandise available now, so yeah, you can get that through a link in bio on my Instagram. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you again. I really enjoyed this. Hope you did as well. And yeah, have a nice evening or day. I don't know where you live, but yeah, thank you. Bye.